going now.
Yeah.
Oh, you can start from the beginning. So you had the COVID the first time,
Yeah.
and you thought you caught it the second time. The first time you lost your taste.
The second time.
You lost your taste. You lost your smell.
Yeah.
And any other symptoms?
I was making soup one day,
Uh huh.
and big pot, with
Right.
a lot of liquid and stuff, and I couldn't smell, so it burned, and it just burned, and I couldn't smell. And my sister-in-law said, "Can't you smell anything?"
And it didn't smell. It didn't smell done. So you thought it was still cooking.
Yeah, and
but it was done.
Burned and black.
Oh, what was it?
I couldn't scrape it.
What was it?
I had to throw it away.
What was it?
Soup. And the second
Soup.
time it was the
You burnt the
same
soup.
thing. And I had to throw the pot away too.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my God.
Now the taste is back about I say about 80%.
Oh.
But the smell, I don't know.
And this was last year.
Doctor's office a
So
month ago.
we'll get this straight from the beginning because I don't think it was rolling.
Yeah.
So you called me for an estimate, but then you called me back to postpone it because you had guests coming over.
Yeah.
And then when they left, you got sick. You had a bad cough, and you went to the doctor, and she just said you had a cold. You didn't have the COVID, but you had the COVID last year. And when you had the COVID last year, you lost your taste, your smell, and you burnt the soup.
Yeah. Twice.
Twice you burnt the soup. What kind of soup was it?
A cabbage.
Cabbage soup.
Cabbage.
Oh.
And,
That's gonna
carrots,
smell good.
Onions and garlic and celery and diced tomatoes, and chicken broth.
Where do you get that
It's
breast?
supposed to lose
It's like a
weight.
chicken cabbage soup. It's supposed to what?
Lose weight.
Lose weight.
But I haven't.
But it sounds healthy.
So I weigh 100 pounds. That's it.
But it sounds healthy though.
Yeah.
Where did you get that recipe?
Oh, online.
Online?
Yeah.
Oh, so you do use the computer.
What?
But so you do use the computer.
Yeah.
Okay, because you found me in the phone book,
Yeah.
right? You didn't look for me on the computer? I'm on the computer too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something wrong with your telephone. Every time I call it,
you know why?
what happened?
When you call,
Yeah.
I checked today.
Uh-huh.
So it's wireless. And
Yeah.
wireless.
Uh-huh.
And when it says wireless, I never answer the phone because they call and
Oh, yeah, the
call.
junk calls.
Yeah.
But it goes like it'll ring and it goes click and nothing.
Really?
But one time I called you and it rang and then it clicked and then I got a thing to leave a recording. I left the recording, you called me back.
Yeah.
But several times today I didn't get that recording to leave a recording.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in this house? You've been in this house 26 years, and I re-screened your screens for you, your solar screens for you, and you haven't done 26 years ago. You said like 26 years ago you had these screens done originally?
So anyway, but this is the same one, right?
Yeah, that's the same one.
How come you didn't change it?
Because I asked you when you were back here, I was going to get new solar screens for you there, and you said you don't want them.
Really?
Yeah, that's what you said. So I rescreened all the old solar screens except for the one right behind you. I replaced because that one's like a Home Depot materials and it wasn't rescreenable. So everything else got rescreened. So I rescreened 16 pieces and gave you a new one. So that makes 17. Plus I gave you one of these window screens. On the other side I gave you a new one because the frame was dented.
Yeah, but are these okay?
Yeah, those are okay. You can open the window with those.
Oh.
Yeah, I did wash the windows there for you because I'm worried if I take those screens out that they'll crack in the corner. They're a little old, but if you just leave them in the window, they'll be okay. They're fine. But they're not solar screens. Those are the regular window screens.
Yeah.
That window had a solar screen on it before, though, because I see the hardware. Yeah. So
Well, maybe one of these days I might have to change again, right?
yeah, maybe one of these days. You call me. You got my card, right?
Huh?
I gave you my business card.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and you got my receipt. Okay, so where did you live before you lived in Las Vegas? Where did you live?
California.
Is that where you're?
San Francisco.
Is that where you were born?
No, I was born in Wyoming.
In Wyoming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, but when I was 3 years old and my sister was 5, we went to Japan. My father took us to Japan, and we were there for 13 years. So we came back in December of 1949. See?
So you were in Japan before 1949 for 13 years?
Yeah.
So you're in Japan during the World War II?
Yeah.
Because that's why I wanted to interview you, because I remember I used to work in the fish market in the supermarket, and there was a Japanese lady that came in to buy fish all the time, and says, "What you guys got that's fresh?" I said, "We got some fresh tuna, just came in today." "Oh, I don't want no tuna. I don't want no tuna." And I said, "Why not?" She goes, "Oh, because when I was a child, we were in the internment camp, and that's all they gave us. Every day we ate tuna." Yeah. So you were in Japan during the World War II?
Yeah. Raised by my grandma and grandpa. And, she had bed and breakfast.
Oh, yeah?
And so we were, I mean, but she was something else. I'm telling you, during the war, she used to buy tobacco. I don't know where. And then we had to, and then cut them up real fine.
Right.
And roll the cigarette. She used to sell them.
Oh.
And we had to do all the work because my aunt and her 5 kids used to live in the city, but they got burned out. So they came to live with us because my grandma had a house next to the bed and breakfast place.
Okay.
So they moved in there. So all of us, we all had to roll the cigarettes, and she used to sell them. And my father and lived in camp in Arkansas. He and his wife and 2 kids.
Camp.
Yeah.
Camp in Arkansas.
Camp in Arkansas, and they
You said your father?
Yeah.
And his wife?
Yeah.
And 2 kids?
Yeah.
So he had more than so.
They were born and raised in well, one was born in California, and then the other one was born in camp.
Oh, so he got married again?
Yeah.
He got married again?
Yeah.
Okay, so he took you and your mother
My mother
and your sister to Japan, and he came back here.
He did.
He came back here?
You know why he came? Well, my grandmother, she had somebody's pick for his wife.
Oh.
But then, see, he got drafted.
So he got drafted where?
Home.
He got drafted where?
Yeah.
Who drafted him?
Yeah.
Who drafted him?
Japanese army.
Oh, but how was it? Okay, so during World War II, if he was he in the Japanese army during World War II?
Yeah. So
Yeah?
He got drafted. So
during World War II?
My grandma did something, I don't know. She used to do all kind of crazy things, and she sent him back.
She sent him back where?
To Wyoming.
All right, but he was in the Japanese army. Oh, when he went, when
They
did
wanted him to be in the army.
he got? Well, you said he got drafted.
Well, drafted. That's why she sent him back.
Oh, so he deserted.
More like,
Right. So like, yeah, it's like during Vietnam, people here would go to Canada.
I don't know.
Huh? No, you don't know.
Well, a lot of U.S. soldiers went to
Okay.
Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of getting drafted, they dodged the draft.
My
So
husband was drafted, and he served in Korea.
oh,
Yeah, and he was under MacArthur. He was military intelligence. So he was in Japan, and then he was sent to Korea, and then back to Japan, and then he came back. And he was 11 years older than me.
But he was in the United States military.
Yeah.
Okay, so
US Army.
but you had me a little confused because you said your father was drafted into the Japanese army, but instead of going into the army, he fled to the U.S.
Yeah.
And he went to Arkansas.
His mother sent him back.
Back to the U.S.
Yeah.
To Wyoming.
I think it was in, let's see now.
Well, you mentioned something.
Wyoming, yeah.
But you mentioned something about Camp Arkansas. What happened in Arkansas?
I don't know how many years they were there, but they never talked about it. You know?
So that was that an internment camp? An internment camp in Arkansas?
Nobody would talk about it.
Oh, but they was an internment camp.
Yeah.
So he fled to the U.S. to stay out of the Japanese military, and then he got put into an internment camp. Wow. That's wild.
Well, you know, they lived to be in their 90s. My father was 96. My mother was 95 when he died. You know. It's okay.
And so when you were in Japan, did you see any bombings or anything like that during the war?
Oh yeah.
You did?
Know, my sister was going to high school,
Uh-huh.
and they start to bomb, you know, and
Right.
she got her leg burned.
Oh.
And so we had a relative in the city. He was a policeman, and then at the time everybody had to wear a name tag, you know.
Okay.
So my sister had a name tag on her.
Okay.
And he found her on the street, and so he notified my grandmother, and so my grandma went over there to get her and brought her back, you know. And but during the war, every time you hear the airplane going by, my sister used to scream so scared.
After
you know?
she got burnt.
Yeah, so my grandpa put the ladder and he says, don't worry about it, you know, when the airplanes start to come, you know, we're gonna carry you up there.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but
Right.
you know, all in all, I think we have pretty good, not bad, you know, but my grandmother was really something else, and so she used to serve, you know, liquor during the war, right?
With the cigarettes.
Huh?
With the cigarettes.
Yeah. And or bed and breakfast, so you know you have to serve the liquor to some people that come and stay, you know. And so and this was after the war. I don't know where she gets all these things, but we never knew. And but anyway, she used to dilute the Japanese sake with the water.
Right, watered down sake.
You put the majoring thing in there, and then she used to call the policeman across the river and tell him to come and taste it. And so he'll come over and he'll taste it, and he said it's okay, you know. And my sister was crying away, said, you know, they're gonna come and arrest you and me and everything else, and she was crying away, and she said, don't worry about it.
For watering down the sake.
Yeah. But I tell you, you know, she was something else, really. And but she was living in Rock Springs in Wyoming, and she had bed and breakfast too there. And so I asked my mother. She was born and raised in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So I asked her. I said, you know, how did she, when she was in a boarding house in Rock Springs, Wyoming, I said, did she have all Japanese people? Because it was people used to work for the Union Pacific. So she said, no, she had Germans, Italians, and I said, did she speak English? She said, no, but she went to cooking school.
Oh.
And she learned how to cook, American food.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, she had a very interesting life, you know.
Well, thank you for sharing your sister's life with us. and then, so when did you come back to the States yourself?
1949.
49, that's right, you said that.
1949, I was 16. And,
Oh, 16.
My sister was 19.
So you had a complete school. So now you're learning, you're taking school in the United States. You're learning things in English, and then you go to Japan. You're taking lessons in Japanese, and you come back and switch to English again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I was 16, so you know, I pretty much learned English fast
Right.
than
Yeah.
my sister, you know. And, but we had a rough time in Wyoming.
Yeah.
I tell you, I never liked my mother.
You never
To
know.
this day, I don't like my mother.
She came back to Wyoming with you.
Well, my sister and I came back to Wyoming.
She stayed in
My mother
Japan?
was born and raised in Cheyenne. And,
So did she come back with you? Did she come back with you?
who?
In 49, did your mom come back to the Wyoming with
She
you?
was always in Wyoming.
Oh, I thought you said she was in Japan.
No, that was me and my sister.
Oh, who were you rolling the cigarettes for?
My grandma.
Oh.
So
Okay.
pretty, you know, but we had a pretty easy time in Japan, even though during the war, you know. But after we came back to Cheyenne, you know, my mother was like used me and my sister like we're a couple of maids.
Oh.
And we never had, you know, never worked so hard in my life. And
Well, what did you do? What did you study in school? Did you finish high school?
Yeah,
Did you go to college?
I did. I went
No?
only a semester of
So
college.
that then you went to work. Did you go to work?
I wanted to get away.
Did you go to work?
I wanted to get away from home.
I don't blame
So
you.
I married a Japanese guy from Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
It didn't last long. You know?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, I wasn't very happy.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I gotta go inside though.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
They did a pretty good paint job.
They did a good paint job. And did you like the screens? The screens look nice. You know, you picked the right color.
Yeah.
You picked the right color for the screens.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take the chair back out front for you again.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Shirley.
All right.
All right, any problems, just give me a call. You're under warranty.
Okay.
Bye-bye.